Hello students, and again welcome now to lesson 25, solving problems with systems of linear inequalities in two variables. Alright, so we're on page 361. So let's go over here and just look at this. Is what you should be seeing in your book right now. And if you'll notice, it says here which one doesn't belong. So it doesn't really tell you, how does it not belong. So it's kind of open to interpretation. I'm going to assume that they want us to go and recognize which one has a solution or doesn't have a solution or something like that. So if you look at this first one, you got two solid lines. You don't have any areas that you're being shaded here. So this one does have a solution. It's right there. Looks like about negative 7, or so. So you just have one solution there. This one has zero solutions. If you look at this has inequality and inequality, and there's no overlap between the two areas. So this one actually has no solutions whatsoever. This one has a little area of solutions, which is right here. So there's a solution where these two shaded and hash marked areas overlap. So there's a solution set there. And this just has one equation, okay? So this whole area here is considered a solution for this one. So, if you want to consider which one doesn't belong, well, this involves 2, this involves 2, this involves 2 equations. So that one's out because of that. This one is just a point that you wanted to have. So if you said, well, we're looking at which one have areas, then this one is out. If you're looking for something that has solutions versus no solutions, well, then this was out because it's the only one that has no solutions. This one is just simply a value of x equaling 7 and y equaling 7, and so this is actually just lines, horizontal and vertical lines, and so it really depends on how you want to say which one doesn't belong. For me, it's this one. There's no solutions. This is solution, this is a solution, this is a solution. So, and continue on. This is number 2 here. Here are the graphs of the inequalities of the system. So they give you x less than y, or you could think of it as y greater than x. That's this little hashed mark right here. And it's everything in the blue. And then you have y greater than or equal to negative 2 minus 6. And so that is the solid line that goes right down here. And everything to the right. It says decide whether each point is a solution to the system. Be prepared to explain your answers. Well, if it's going to be a point that's a solution to the whole system, it has to be somewhere in this little hash mark. That's the place where the blue and the shade here, where both those intersect. And so this is where your solution set is at that'll solve both of these. Okay, so we can go through each one of these. 3, negative 5, so 3, negative 5, that's a no. 0, 5, that looks like a yes. So if we were to go through this, all right, and I can go and page it down onto the next page of my solution book. All right, so these are the answers that I got. All right, so the top one, no. This second one, yes, and then no, no, and no. So if you look through and you try to find these points, here I kind of put on, a lot of them are like, 3 of them are like right on the line, and it's on the line where it says less than, okay, not less than or equal to, less than. So though it might land on the line, it doesn't solve this, it doesn't satisfy it, because it doesn't satisfy it. They land on the line. So if it was an equal sign in there, it would, but not today. And so you have one that's up here, one that's down here, which is clearly in the zone of what the solution is and where it's not. It just satisfies one, and that's it. And so, yeah, this is the only one that works, number 2. All right, number 3. Number 3 is going to take a while to actually work through, so bear with me, okay? So on this one, what they're doing, let me zoom in here a little bit. All right. So they basically have a solution here. They have like 3 little lines that intersect. They got 3 points. You got a nice little triangle going on. I went and found the points negative 2, 4, 2, 3, and 3, negative 1. And they say find the system of inequalities with the triangle as a solution set. Okay, so this is a lot of work for this, a lot of work. What you have to do is find the equation for this line and organize it so that it's on one side get the equation for this one and say it to the other side, then say it to this one and go down here, and they give you this teeny tiny amount of space to work with. Well, that's a lot of work for one little question. I mean, it would take the average student at least an hour to figure this out. And one question taking an hour is just ridiculous. So what I'm just going to show you now is how you're going to find, if you can just find the equations in the line, that is good enough for Algebra 1. All right, so let's look through here. I got 2 points, all right? I got 2 points. So I got this point and I got this little point here. I'm going to call that line 1. And so I'm going to put my work over here. So I got to find the slope. So the change in the y is the rise, 4 minus 1. And then the run, you go from -2 to a +2. All right. So you have to actually go through and do the math here, and you find out that your slope is a -1/4. All right. And then you substitute it into this. Okay, so your slope is -2. Then you take one of your points here. I took the point 2, 3. So the 3 is the y, the 2 is the x, and I put it into a y-intercept form. All right. And so 2 times -1/4 is a -1/2. So 3 equals a -1/2 plus b. B equals 3.5, which is 7/2. So you can get a y-intercept form out of that. There's a fraction involved here and in the slope, and so if you want to, you can convert it to a standard form. And but at that point, you can go and figure out which side you're supposed to be on, if it's less than or greater than. Pretty much each one of these lines that you'd have to come up with is going to have to be less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, right? Okay, line 2, which is this point right here, so I'm going to do the same set. I'm going to take these 2 points, and I'm going to start with this, finding the slope. 3 minus a -1, 2 minus a 3, and I'm going to get a slope of a -4. And I do the same thing. I put it through my y-intercept form. I choose this point, 2, 3, I put them in there. Y equals m, which is the slope, times x plus b. Do a little bit of math, find out what the b value is. Okay, and now you have an equation. Y equals -4x plus 11, and you can figure out which side that's on. Line 3, which is right here, I'd use this point and this point. I find my slope. 4 minus a -1. -2 minus a 3, I get a slope of a -1. Then I take this right here, x comma y, and I put it into your y-intercept. So y is 4, slope is -1, your x value is a -2, plus b. And at this point, you just do some math, and you find out that b is 2. So y equals a -x plus 2. All right. Now, once you have that, you can go and work on which side that you want to have the answers on, and go and develop there. But if you can just get the line equations first off, that's the main thing there. All right. Now, the next thing here, they want you to go and infogap terms of a team. So they want you to do a whole bunch of stuff here. They want you to go through and take a bunch of data cards, and it just seems like this is a lot of work again, and if you had time, that would be fine. I'm not going to go through it because it says the teacher will give you either a problem card or a data card. I don't have those. There's stuff that I could go online and find, and we could mimic this with something that I could find online, but I'm just going to skip this infogap terms of a team. I think there's better uses for our time with that. And we just go right on to the summary of this. All right. Well, what's the summary? The summary is this. We're going to give you 2 equations, and they're going to be 2 inequalities, and they're going to be on the same graph here, and you're going to find where they overlap. And just like on the Venn diagrams when you were in 3rd grade, you talk about intersection and union and that kind of stuff. We're looking for the intersection. Where do both of these lie? So all you have to do is you take your equations that you have, or your inequalities. You're going to turn them into like a equation, kind of graph them, being mindful that if you have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, you get a solid line. And if you have less than or greater than, then you have a dashed line. It tells you whether or not the line should or should not be included in the solution. And then you put those lines up, and then you figure out which side of that line that you're supposed to be on, and you see where they intersect. And where they intersect is a solution which solves both of these problems. So that's what you do. You're taking stuff you already know, graphing equations, and you're just going to turn it into an inequality, which hopefully you'll learn about 5th grade. And then you're going to go and find the intersection, which is hopefully what you learned in using Venn diagrams in 5th grade. So, all right. And then they go through and they have a little bit of a talkie here and see if which ones will actually work. All right. And that's all there is. So that's what I have for today for the lesson. The hard part was, again, trying to do the graphs on you. Are you ready for more? This thing, all right. Finding the system of equations and this thing was the hard part. But other than that, that's all I got for today. I'm going to move on now to the practice problems. So I'll see you in a bit.